2 babies were born in the same hospital, 3 days apart. Same healthy checkups, same loving parents. By age 3, one was speaking in full sentences, asking why 100 times a day. The other was still pointing and grunting, already flagged for a speech evaluation. The difference wasn't intelligence. It wasn't genetics. It came down to 7 small, everyday habits that happen in almost every home. And most parents have no idea they're doing them. Researchers call this the difference between passive language exposure and active language interaction. One fills a baby's ears with sound. The other actually builds the brain's wiring for speech. And the gap between the two starts widening long before a baby says their first word. Stick around for number 4, because it's the one almost every well-meaning parent gets backwards. Number 1, background noise that isn't meant for baby. Picture this. The TV is on in the next room while your baby plays on the floor. Not really watching, just soaking in the ambient sound. Dr. Dimitri Christakis, a pediatric researcher at the University of Washington, tracked background television exposure in young children and found that even when a child wasn't actively watching, ambient TV measurably reduced the quantity and quality of parent-child talk in the room. The mechanism is simple. Adult conversation on a screen competes for a baby's attention without ever inviting them to respond. So the room gets louder while actual interaction gets quieter. This doesn't mean one movie night ruins anything. It just means awareness, not guilt. Number 2, teach your baby to talk, apps and videos. It feels productive. A colorful screen, cheerful music, a voice sounding out words. But Dr. Patricia Kuhl at the University of Washington ran a landmark study exposing babies to a new language, either through a live person or through video and audio recordings only. The babies who learned from a real, responsive human picked up new sounds. The babies exposed to the identical content through a screen learned essentially nothing. She calls this social gating. A baby's brain requires a live social connection to unlock language learning, and video alone doesn't open that gate. One episode isn't the problem. It's just not a substitute for a face. Number 3, finishing your baby's attempts before they finish them. Your baby babbles, "Baba," reaching for a bottle, and you hand it over instantly, saying nothing. Dr. Rachel Romeo at MIT studied what she calls conversational turns, back and forth exchanges between parent and child, and found that the number of these turns, not just the number of words a baby hears, predicted stronger language scores and even measurable differences in brain structure tied to speech. The turn only counts if you respond to the attempt, not just the need behind it. This isn't about narrating every second of your day. It's about not skipping the exchange. Number 4, the quiet 30 million word gap. This is the one that surprises parents most. Dr. Betty Hart and Dr. Todd Risley at the University of Kansas tracked family conversations for years and found that by age 4, children from more talk-rich homes had heard roughly 30 million more words than children from quieter homes, regardless of income or education. The mechanism isn't about vocabulary lists. It's about narrating ordinary moments, folding laundry, chopping vegetables, buckling a car seat, because every one of those sentences is free vocabulary input. Missing a few quiet days doesn't erase anything. One off pattern doesn't undo a relationship. Number 5, dropping parentese too early. That sing-song, exaggerated way you naturally talk to infants, "Who's a sleepy ba-abi," isn't silly, it's science. Dr. Fernald at Stanford found that infants exposed to more of this exaggerated, slowed down infant-directed speech, processed language faster, and built bigger vocabularies by age 2. The slower pacing and higher pitch make word boundaries easier for a developing brain to detect. Plenty of parents drop parentese early because it feels babyish once their child starts crawling. It doesn't need to be perfect or constant. Babies need good enough, not flawless. Number 6. Phone glances during play. A quick check of a notification, mid-conversation, mid-peekaboo. Researcher Dr. Brandon McDaniel at Illinois State University coined the term technophrence to describe these small interruptions, and found that frequent device distractions during parent-child interaction were linked to more behavioral and communication difficulties in young children. It's not the phone itself, it's the abrupt disappearance of your face and voice mid-exchange, right when your baby was engaging. This is awareness, not another thing to feel guilty about. Number 7. Waiting for a response instead of noticing the attempt. Harvard's Center on the Developing Child describes this as serve and return. A baby coos or points, that's the serve. And a parent's job is simply to return it with eye contact, words, or a sound. Their research shows this responsive back and forth is one of the single strongest predictors of healthy brain architecture in the first years of life. Missing a serve here and there is normal. Babies aren't counting misses. They're building patterns over thousands of repetitions. Here's what this actually looks like in 3 simple moves. First, notice the serve. When your baby babbles, points, or looks at something, that's an invitation, not a bid you rate as important or unimportant. Second, return it out loud. Even something as small as, yes, that's the dog, he's so fluffy, counts as a full turn. Third, wait for round 2. Pause after you speak. Leave space. Because that pause is what teaches a baby their sound matters enough to get a reply. A milestone tracking app can log when your baby says their first word. It can send you a push notification and a chart. What it cannot do is notice the exact moment your baby looks at the dog, hears you name it, and files that sound away for later. Only a present, responsive adult can catch that split-second window and answer it. That's not something any subscription replaces. It's something no product has ever been able to buy back. That baby in the hospital bed, 3 days old, has no idea yet what their voice will sound like at 3 years old. But somewhere, in 1,000 ordinary moments, a narrated grocery run, a returned babble, a paused conversation waiting for a reply, that voice is already being built. You are not waiting for some future moment to start shaping how your child will one day speak to the world. You are already doing it right now in the most unremarkable 5 minutes of your day. If this changed how you think about the small moments with your baby, consider subscribing. We post new videos on baby development every week. If it was helpful, drop a like. See you in the next one. This channel is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical or psychological advice. Always consult a qualified professional regarding your child's development.